happy with the car, and I'm
I am Rohit. I own and drive Hyundai Elantra. I have had this car for around 8 months now, and I've clocked around 7,000 kilometers. It's an automatic SXO option. This is a petrol version. It's a 2-liter engine. It's called the NU engine. Tucson and the Elantra have the same engine in petrol, both on fuel economy as well as on responsiveness. The engine is much better than the earlier Elantra, which is obviously a smaller engine. It always felt a very sluggish car as compared to what they have given on a petrol 2-liter engine.
On road, for me, it came up to around 21.8 lakhs.
Since December, they've upgraded it to have front sensors on the bumper. It's got emergency brake lighting. At high speeds, when you brake suddenly, the brake light not only lights up, it also strobes. The brake light starts flashing rather than only coming on. It attracts more attention to show that there's an emergency braking. It gives me an average of around 10.5. It's pretty impressive for this size of engine. The fuel economy I've seen on a sports mode at a stretch of maybe 100 kilometers, the fuel economy drops down to around 9 kilometers per liter, around 10% drop. So that's why I'm saying there's a difference in 10% of performance also. With this, I was taking a look at the Toyota Corolla Altis and the Skoda Octavia. There was an issue with regard to the delivery period of the Skoda Octavia, which was taking a much more longer period of time as compared to Hyundai. The service network and the dealership network of Hyundai and Skoda, you cannot compare. So finally it did come down to a little bit of a practical decision. It swayed in favor of Hyundai. That's as far as the brand is concerned. I test drove the car, the Skoda Octavia, much faster car. It came down to the design. That's a very European stylish design with straight lines, angular body, which has been in the market for quite some time. The best driving experience was the Octavia because of the DSG gearbox. Power, first of all. Much more availability of power than the other two cars. The speeds are very, very good. The suspension is better than the Elantra, therefore they drive better. They're more in control than the Elantra. As far as the Toyota Corolla Altis is concerned, there's nothing that they could offer which the Elantra was not offering. Just to see what they had to offer, that I test drove. As far as the Corolla is concerned, Altis just felt an aged gearbox. Nothing much to offer. I'm sorry, I think my bias is coming out very clearly. I really was not impressed by the Altis at all. It just felt like a 7 to 10 year old technology. Just those clicking of the gears in an automatic transmission did not really. Very tight transmission, and just that this is such an ease to work. It's just one straight line, and you put it back. That's the reverse, that's the neutral, and that's the drive mode. With the Corolla, obviously because of the kind of transmission it has, you have to move it, press it, move it, and then go back to neutral or parking. Almost felt like a manual transmission that you're driving, except that when you engage in drive mode, then you don't have to change gears. But to again deactivate and activate drive mode, you still have to go the maze route. Obviously the DSG is out of the question. The Corolla, very, very palpable. You can actually make out when it is changing. The Elantra, it just worked on their earlier fluidic design to make it a very interesting combination, because it's almost like a coupe from behind, but from inside it's a completely European car. Perfect combination of both funner on the outside and very traditional and very stylish on the inside. Therefore, as far as the design is concerned, I was more attracted to the Elantra. Feature wise, I believe that the Elantra is the best of these three. While the Octavia is a more expensive car, the top end, I felt that the Elantra has much more to offer. And then just the comfort of having service network, dealership network all over the country just made it a more practical decision to go for the Elantra and not the Skoda. But otherwise, I've not found anything bad in the Skoda Octavia. However, Altis was not even in the contention, because frankly, it being a Toyota brand is what is selling in India. Therefore, I chose the Elantra and not the other two. It's a very, very stable car to drive, especially on the highway. The air scoops in the front seems to keep the car planted a little more than other cars that I have driven on the highway.
Air scoops, and they are these. So what it does is it lets air go in through this and then come down from there. keeping the car much more planted on the front at higher speeds.
This having traction control, ABS, EBD, all of that. So you're pretty much in control of the car at higher speeds. I've never felt it get away from me, either at cornering or at swerves. I've hit 160 on straight and I've cornered at around 120. So the suspension, it's not tuned for speeds. It's tuned for comfort. Had it been a taller car, you would have called it a body roll. So you can't call it a body roll, obviously, because this is a sedan which is pretty low. There is flex, but it is not uncontrollable. Obviously, would not recommend if you're not comfortable at doing at that speed, but it can be done. At straight drive at 160, I was very comfortable. It is not as if it was going anywhere else, or that I was not. I was conscious of the speeds because the engine noise is pretty loud. But then it was not unmanageable or a scary experience. It is a pleasurable experience. At higher speeds, there is a little bit of road noise in the cabin. The cabin is not as well insulated as for a car at this level. If it's a chauffeur-driven car, it is obviously a distraction for the person who's traveling in the back. That's probably to do with the insulation and a little bit better battening of the doors and maybe even the beading. Should take care of that issue. The space in between the door panel and the door itself, there's a huge space in between that. So you deaden that space by putting a sheet of soundproof material, which stops both noise as well as, to a large extent, even smells from entering the cabin. However, it's not distracting road noise. In fact, to a large extent, at higher speeds, it actually keeps you aware about the speed of the car. It could turn out to be an advantage. The sound actually keeps you a little more alert. Space-wise, 5 out of 5. Doors open really wide. So entering is actually very, very easy. The electrically adjustable seats, obviously front, back, then this adjusts your thigh support. It's a very driver position friendly.
But on your thigh is like kind of almost.
Yes. All right. So what I do is, all right,
you push it back completely.
Push it back completely, and then lift this. So what happens is, this gets lifted, and I get complete thigh support. That's one. And then this knob gives you lumbar support, which is the portion here moves inwards and outwards, giving you a support for your spine, customizing your seating position, and you're the most comfortable. 5 out of 5 because of this. And I am 6'2". Of course, it does. The knee does make contact, but it's still very, very decent leg space.
For an average Indian,
that's amazing space. In fact, the headroom of the Skoda Octavia is much lesser than the Elantra. Compared to the Octavia, this has more headroom. It's probably because of the seating position. The backrest is much more reclined, therefore giving you a sense of a little more head space, even if it is not. Again, leg space rare, space here, driving position, 5 out of 5. Especially because none of the cars of this segment give you ventilated seats. So driving comfort, obviously, just because of the ventilated seat, you get 5.5 stars. On a hot summer day, it's such pleasure. Now, the interiors of the car are completely European. The black interiors, the straight lines, the clean dash, the console, the way the air vents are designed and placed, the shape of the buttons, everything. It's got a very, very European look to it. From the exterior, it's all fluid.
So what excites you?
Lines, obviously. It's just that it's such a nice shaped car with beautiful lines going all through from front to the back. The curves.
Okay.
It's very, very different from the usual sedan that you get.
So
line that goes and then
the character line over here.
Yes.
Okay.
and it runs completely to the back, and the front obviously begins as a sedan, ends
Yeah.
up almost as a coupe.
Correct.
Very interesting design.
Yeah.
The lines of the dicky
Okay.
running all through as a curved structure. It's a beautiful car. Integrated the spoiler feature also into the design itself.
Correct.
The major feature of the car is the tail lamp. It's a beautiful tail lamp. It's got 3 distinct hexagonal lights. Got bright DRLs. DRLs are LED. HID projector lamps for the low beam.
Okay.
And they've got projector lamps for the fog light as well, which is a rarity. That's very pretty alloys.
Once the car switched off and then you switch it on again, it goes back to the default mode, which is the normal mode.
So we are eco mode.
No, the normal mode is not the eco mode. The normal mode is what is called normal mode. There is no mode activated. So apart from the normal mode, there are two other modes. So you press it once, it goes to the eco mode. Now here, what happens is that in the automatic transmission, when the gear automatically shifts from first to second to third, it shifts at a very low RPM. It's lower RPM than normal mode or the sport mode, which means that the fuel economy obviously becomes much better. The speeds of the car decrease by a lot of, probably around 20% difference in speeds. When you activate the normal mode or the eco mode, where the steering becomes a little lighter. So obviously the normal mode and the eco mode is for traffic. You press it once more, the sports mode gets activated. There's an immediate tune-up of the engine automatically. I think the ECU gets remapped a little. There's more power available at every gear. The steering stiffens up a little so that you have more control on the car, and it basically responds better on curves. The car goes at the direction where you want to at higher speeds.
Okay.
And in the sports mode, obviously, the shifting of the gears are at a much higher RPM, and it takes a longer period of time for it to change from first to second to third. So you have available power, which you can speed up really fast. There are 2 ways of looking at it. One is that it just makes the car a much funner ride than the normal mode and the eco mode. And secondly, if you need a sudden burst of speed for overtaking on highway, it just behaves like a faster sports car at the most. We can't compare it with the sports car, but it starts behaving as a car which is tuned for higher speed. The suspensions are fairly good. They are not. They're more for comfort rather than speed. Basically, it's a heavy sedan. So the speeds, you can call it the linear speeds, are a little slower than you compare it to a Skoda Octavia. It's pretty slow. However, you engage the sports mode, it becomes as zippy as a Skoda Octavia. It's just an option for drivers who want a funner drive or a faster ride.
Correct.
To activate the sports mode and drive around. In the Elantra, on the eco mode and the normal mode, you can't make out when the gears are changing. However, in the sports mode, you can clearly make out it hits RPM, and because it's at higher speeds, and then the RPM goes down and then starts building up again, there's a clear-cut feedback that the transmission is being changed.
When you're engaging manual, it will show you what gear it is driving at. Now you're at 4. All you have to do is get it to the right, tap it to the right, and there it shows you that we are on 4th gear. Now to move gears, you just need to press it once, you are into 5th. So come down, you are in 4th, in 3rd. And now as it's going down, it does go down into lower gears. That's again for the surge of speed that you require as you're accelerating, that you would want to use it therefore.
Which is a better mode to drive?
As a drive mode, sports mode obviously, and transmission, I personally prefer the manual transmission because I am also an off-road enthusiast. I like the car to be more in control, and therefore manual gives me that control. However, for city drive inside a city like Delhi, no substitution for an automatic transmission. Amongst all the 3, the safest as far as airbag deployment is concerned is the Elantra.
How's the braking otherwise?
It's not all that great, but it's not very bad as well. It's got adequate braking. While you don't really feel the bite, the stopping distance is fairly adequate. Neither are the suspensions of that nature that it has so much travel to go down. Obviously, traction control, ABS, EBD, it is adequate. It is not great or out there. I've not found it to be a very alarming thing. So I guess it's pretty good.
What's the number rating?
4.
Okay.
The Elantra's chassis, it's almost like it's a single piece. From a single piece of iron, a chassis is cut out of. It's a completely laser cut chassis, which makes it one of the safest body structures in a sedan. This I have read and researched before buying the car. And it does feel that because it's a solid one-piece structure, it keeps the car in shape as well at high speed. So the interiors, solid plastics, soft touch. This one for dash, giving it a very, very premium feel, and heavy doors, giving you a very, very comfortable feel inside. You feel very secure. Hyundai has always had this advantage over other car makers that they make very solid interiors. The build quality is extremely good. Heavy feel and a heavy thud when the door closes. Gives you a very, very comfortable feel that you're secure inside the car.
Number please.
4 or 5.
The seat is leatherette. It's perforated for the ventilation. The ventilation has 3 modes. That's for your seat, and this is for the driver's seat. 3 fan speeds, which I mean. So you press it once, it comes to the highest mode. Press it once more, the fan speed reduces further, and then goes off.
Is it just colder or hot and cold?
It's only cold.
First of all, you need to know that the feature of Smart Boot can be deactivated or activated from inside. You can activate. There you can show it. So these are the options with every press. Now you go to user settings and then doors. Go to doors. Smart trunk. There. See, you click on OK. So now you've deactivated Smart Trunk. Then click it again. You activated Smart Trunk. So the box gets checked. And your Smart Trunk is activated. If you're not very certain that you want to use it, you can deactivate it, and the Smart Trunk feature will not work.
Yeah.
It can be a personal preference if you want your Smart Trunk to work or not. With the car locked, you go straight to the boot, stand there for a couple of seconds. It senses the remote in your pocket, and then beeps around 4 times, basically asking whether I should open or not. The boot actually
gives you time
and tells you that after 4 beeps I'm going to open. And this feature is obviously if your hands are full and you want to load something into the dicky and you can't access your key, all you have to do is go stand next to it. The beep happens and then the boot opens automatically. To open the sunroof, you just press it once and the entire sunroof opens. It's not a panoramic sunroof, but it's pretty adequate. And then to close it again, you press it once and the sunroof closes. Because you push it upwards. And then pull it downwards. And the sun shield, of course, is a manually operated sun shield that has a cruise control. The manual says that it sets at 50 and above. However, I've set it at 40 also. So probably from the speeds of 40, you can activate cruise control. Go into the mode of activation. You press cruise control. Your cruise wordings come out, and then to set it, you just press this button downwards to set. So at the speeds that you're driving, the cruise control gets set, and then you go on at that speed till you want it deactivated. All you have to do is press the brake, cruise control gets deactivated. To go out of cruise control mode, you press it again, it goes out. So once you press it, it comes into cruise control mode. You can activate by pressing the set button. It's got a dual zone automatic climate control inside the cabin for the front. The sync button activated, what it does is it syncs both the air vents at the same temperature. So this becomes the slave, this is the master. To decrease the temperature, it would automatically decrease temperature on both sides. You deactivate the sync. What happens is that becomes an independent unit, and that's called a dual zone, obviously. So here I increase the temperature from my side. The temperature for the passenger side remains at 19, and if that needs to be changed, then it has to be separately done from the knob given for the passenger side. It senses this one and then goes back again. Does not let your hand get stuck in. Now another feature of the sunroof is, again, it's also with the pinch guard. If there's some obstruction, does not close on your hand, but just opens up and goes back. the sensors connected to the steering. It also shows you the direction at which you're turning, and then as you turn back, it shows you the straight line. And then this is the actual bumper, so you know exactly how far away you are when you're there. Hey guys, if you like my review, don't forget to like and subscribe this video and press the bell icon for
Notifications.
notifications.
Thank you so much.